Now, the 10-minute drill.
This is a big one.
On 1010XL.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Hit it.
Yeah! Sports concepts and rationalizations coming your way. We call it the 10-minute drill. After we're done, we will hand out a wonderful prize pack. A prize pack beef that includes what?
Oh, we're hooking the Googans up, Danny. One lucky Googan's going to take home a 4-pack to go see the Jumbo Shrimp in action down at the baseball grounds.
Okay.
And they'll get some free airport parking from our friends at usapark.net.
All right, wonderful, wonderful. Lots to talk about. Two good notes that people get excited about if you're talking about just the Jacksonville Jaguars, and that would, I think, be Dede Westbrook and DJ Chark. Both seem to be having good camps. I don't know what that means. I don't know how much you can take, but I'll say this. DJ Chark will be an improved football player this year, and that's a good thing. I don't know how improved, but I would be willing to bet he's going to catch more than 14 passes this year.
I don't know if the trend, that statistical trend, is still holding, but do you remember back a ways, go back 5-10 years, and it was always receiver struggles as rookie and then really kind of bust out in year two, and whether that was, Isaac Bruce or Roddy White. I can remember a few of those examples. So, yeah, hopefully they can get that kind of uptick from DJ Chark. I mean, look, still remains to be seen. I'll tell you something else that jumps out at me if you go down there is we talk so much about, new coaches when you get them. And I mean, and you go down there and you look, does it look any different with John DeFilippo than it did under anyone else?
No, offense is offense.
I mean, I think the offensive coordinator.
I think John DeFilippo's biggest challenge, because obviously he got let go in Minnesota, I think because of a philosophy like you're throwing too much.
Yeah.
And, I know that Coughlin and Marone want that balance, that 50-50 stuff. So that's something that they want to run that football. So he's going to probably have to remind himself a few times to make sure he's running it.
I think the offensive coordinator gets mislabeled sometimes as far as his value as the scheme. It's not the scheme. To me, the great offensive coordinator, it's the chess master on game day. It's calling the plays at the right time against the right defenses more than it is some special look that they're getting.
When I was down in Gainesville, I asked Dan Mullen about play calling because he's obviously very good at it. And, one of the things he said is that a couple things that I took from it. One, he said, hey, listen, we do things to set something else up. So, in other words, basically we'll throw this play away because we want you thinking this, then we're going to come back with that, and that because we set you up with this, then that works. So that's part of the chess game. And the other part of the chess game is he's been with his coaches for so long, they have a pretty good system where he said there's 5 guys on our staff who could call the plays. And he says sometimes Hevesy will say, do this. Or Gonzalez, who's watching the edges, says they just change corners, go get this guy. And Mullen will just say, do it, because, obviously you're under the auspices of the play clock as well. So I love nicknames in sport.
Okay.
And I saw a nickname yesterday, just real quick, that I'll mention. But I guess the Dodgers have this kid, Dustin May, who's their top pitching prospect. They're bringing him up to make his debut. He's a redhead with a lot of hair, so they call him Ginger Guard. I thought that's tremendous.
Is he
big
wear
red curly?
He wears
bushy
it like center
hair.
guard kind of.
More curly.
It's funny you brought up the Dodgers.
Ginger Guard.
There's a lot of teams that can be excited about what they did yesterday. I'm going to offer just this slight. I'm like everyone else, and I look at the Astros adding Greinke with Greinke, Verlander, and Cole, thinking, my God. But I will just this little friendly, too personal reminder. The Braves trotted out Messrs. Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox for about 5 years running, and they didn't exactly win it all every year. So just giving the Astros the World Series trophy yesterday, I think, is a mistake. Now, on to a further point and see if you agree with me. I think the Dodgers lost a trade deadline yesterday more than any team in the history of sport has lost a trade deadline. And for them, I would trade Jock Peterson for that Pirates closer. I would trade forget the prospects. I'll give you Max Muncy. I'll give you Corey Seager.
Yeah.
I'll give you anyone but Bellinger right now.
Yeah,
it's the only thing I'm missing. And if they would have got that guy, they could have beaten the Astros. They're not going to beat them with this crap bullpen they got, and they did nothing to help.
Yeah, I would. I'd also throw the Yankees in there, though. I think the Yankees lost, too. I think the Yankees blew it.
At least they have a back-end guy.
Yeah,
when
but
you get to
I'm
the
not talking about
postseason.
bull. They need starting pitching. They have nothing.
It's struggled now, but, yeah, I hear you.
Who are they going to trot out against Garrett Cole and and Verlander, and now Greinke, who went to the Astros. I'm sure you all heard of that by now. I will say this. I read an article yesterday. I don't have it in front of me, but basically it kind of went through, and not every year, because it's funny. I'm of the thought, if you get to the trade deadline and you have a team that you like and a team that is going to make the playoffs, the Braves, I'll use them as an example, you have to go for it. And so I looked at this article, and it talked about, well, a couple years ago, the Astros went and got Verlander. It was more from it was a Yankees perspective. The Yankees did nothing. Astros, went on to win. A year later,
Red Sox.
Yeah, last year the Red Sox got Eovaldi and Pierce, and obviously Pierce was the World Series MVP, and Eovaldi was.
Is he even in the league? That guy?
I know, but Eovaldi was so good for him as well, so that worked. And you can go back. There was a year they said the Yankees were 6 ahead of the Blue Jays. And at the trade deadline, the Blue Jays retooled everything, and I don't have the names.
Maybe David Price, maybe that year.
But the Yankees got Dustin Ackley, and the Blue Jays caught the Yankees. I don't understand why you don't do deals when you're up there. And when you're up there, it's the Braves. Beef was bemoaning Theo yesterday, his
I saw
idol,
somebody put the Cubs in the win category.
Well, they got
I wasn't bemoaning
Castellanos.
Theo
That was
now.
before.
Yeah.
I'm bemoaning the owners
Yeah.
for their cheapskatedness.
So anyway, so the Cubs went and got Castellanos, who they need. They should have. The Braves got bullpen help, and then they say the difference between the Braves and the Nats. The Braves got good bullpen help. The Nats got more arms.
Crappy.
I don't understand that.
I agree, 100%.
I was like, it made no. Listen, I didn't get it.
The Braves completely rebuilt their bullpen, Hick, and the good side, the other side of that, they only gave up 3 of their top 30 prospects, and the best one they gave up has yet to fly. I mean, they've still got the Braves did not really impact their deep farm at all, and they are significantly better at the back half of the game. Night and day.
Yeah, I thought about you yesterday. I didn't see the game. I saw the final.
I was watching,
so I didn't know, and then I went back and looked.
It was even worse than
like,
you know.
Oh, this is great.
It was worse than you could imagine.
To talk about having your mood dictated. If they had blown that game and not done anything, you'd have been flipping the table over. Instead, you're celebrating and dancing on the table because not only did they come back and win a game that they should have lost because of their bullpen, but they also went and helped their bullpen. So
my son called me. My son, listen, never calls me during the workday if the Braves play in the daytime. And I got a phone call with the bases loaded and no outs in the ninth, and the game already 4-3. I got a call from my son who said that I just want you to know that I hate the Braves more than I hate life on its worst day.
Yeah.
I mean,
because
they were blowing it again.
Oh, yeah.
You have to understand too, Braves fan hates the Nats, dude.
Yeah.
I don't like the Nats. I don't like their announcers. I don't like the Nats. So anyway, Braves had a good day though.
The Braves had a good day. I still like what the Indians did the day before. How about Trevor Bauer yesterday?
What a weirdo.
Trevor Bauer
went to the game.
Is at the game, the Indians game.
With a backpack.
Not the
like
Reds
a fan.
game. Like a fan standing in the stands watching the Indians play. And people are like looking at him like, is that Trevor Bauer? Whatever.
He is a nut.
He's a nut, but that's fine. But I like what they did. But the Astros won the day, and they somehow, out of the blue, they determined that Zach Greinke was available. Did anybody else even know Zach Greinke was available?
No, he was out there. They were.
And they traded, I guess, prospects 2, 3, and 4 in their organization. So they gave up a lot.
But they kept Kyle Tucker.
Yeah.
I mean, prospects, they work like 1 out of 10 end up hitting big. I would much rather get a – and one thing, back to the Braves real quick, I'll leave it. But 2 of those 3 pieces, too, are under control for next year, too. So it gives you some flexibility. And I misspoke a little bit on Fultonevich, who got rocked his first trip down to AAA. He's now made 6 starts, though, and he's 5-1, and ZRA's down to 3.2. His elbow is the particles in his elbow have dissipated. He's got his slider again, so maybe there's hope for Fultonevich to be at least on the back end of the rotation down the stretch.
Yeah. So
your thoughts on the Mets pulling to within 4.5 of the wild card lead, and your GM stating that you're in it to win it this year. You've added Marcus Stroman. You're definitely right in the thick Are you going to have to exhume the corpse, or
No.
are you going to continue to play this fake game you're playing with me that you're not really engaged at all in this search by your
I'm
baseball team?
engaged. I just have once I
Got to get to 500 first. Is that the first goal?
I stand by the way I play by the rules, and I buried them, and they're dead, and they're not going to make the
Come get
playoffs.
us.
But I will say this: they have a great rotation, but
Stroman pitched today. When does he go?
no, he goes Saturday. I probably would have dealt some stuff, but I will give him credit if the offers weren't there, and I think I may have read somewhere they turned down like Andujar and somebody for Wheeler, which I was kind of wondering. No, Andujar's out for the year. Their thought was, though, what they're trying to do is they believe the team's competitive. They want people who can help them right now, not people who can help them for the future. I don't know. We'll see. But it is what it is, and their rotation is terrific, but it won't last. So I'll ride it while I can and enjoy watching them. And yeah, you got to get to 500 before you can even think about it. They've dug such a hole that
Nick Bonacani died yesterday. I know you
yes.
grew up in South Florida.
Yes.
He was just he remained
Nick
a
Bonacani,
big name down there, didn't he?
Nick Bonacani, I'll say this, is to me a little bit of the Dolphins version in a way of our guy Tom Coughlin. And I'll explain why. Nick Bonacani was a
leader of the no-name defense.
Great football player, drafted by the Boston Patriots. Played a lot of years in Boston. People don't know
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Then he went down, and then the Dolphins traded for him. And he was tremendous, really good football player and a mainstay in South Florida. But what he did off the field for the Miami Project, his son, Mark Bonacani, who is my age, was playing football at the Citadel.
That's where it was Citadel.
And he was paralyzed from the neck down. Awful story.
Is he still alive, Mark Bonacani?
Yeah. And they have raised, I think, $500 million. Nick Bonacani apparently was like a genius in terms of he ran successful businesses down in South Florida, but when his son got paralyzed, he rallied and raised millions and millions of dollars for the Miami Project to cure paralysis, and they've done some great things down there with that. And so my point being, that's kind of I think that's his greatest legacy, like Tom Coughlin's is the J Fund. So he will be missed down there. He was
only 78.
Yeah. They did. If you want to know about Nick Bonacani, go watch. HBO did a documentary on him like in the last 6 months and interviewed him. He was struggling, CTE, and having trouble remembering things. Don't know how much of it was. He's donated his brain. I don't know how much of it was CTE, how much of it was age, how much of it was, I don't know, but. It was, and they interviewed him, and he was aware. But it was a very good documentary. If you have any tie whatsoever to South Florida, the Dolphins, you would enjoy.
A hell of a play. He was a Hall of Famer, right?
Yes, great football player.
I remember. Where I remember Nick Bonacani. Well, I remember
very
as a
different
Dolphin.
though in this respect. Nick Bonacani. This is a difference in eras. Nick Bonacani today, I don't think would be the kind of football player he was because of his size and such. But he was a ferocious, hard-hitting, tough dude, man.
He set both the Patriots and Dolphins records for tackles in a year, 8-time Pro Bowler.
I mean, you're talking about a guy who the video, when they talked about, they did part of it on CTE, obviously, and the video of him, I mean, you want to talk about a guy who banged his head probably 8 zillion times, it would be Nick Bonacani.
Yeah, all right. That's the 10-minute drill.
Yeah.
Caller number 4 right now takes home the prize pack. Doc Kevin Murphy is waiting in the wings.
Let's
so we'll
do it.
Hit the injury report and more when we return. It is a Custom Tree Surgeons Thursday on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.